Join me as we talk about my 5 least favorite states to ride a motorcycle in and why. What's up? J Street Moto here, and welcome back to the channel. So, in our cross-country trip, I mentioned a list of my 5 favorite states to ride in. I decided that it would potentially be a good thing to give you the list of my 5 least favorite places to ride a motorcycle in the United States. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying I've not personally ridden in every state in the U.S. yet. It's something we're attempting to do. It's something that we've been planning out for a while, we being me, David, Juan, but it has not been done yet. So currently, I've not ridden in Maryland or further north on the east coast of the U.S., so none of the New England states. That includes New York. I have not ridden in Louisiana, and I've not ridden in Washington or Oregon. That would be the states that I'm missing from the continental United States. So yeah, I'll start off by saying that. Now, we'll just get the ball rolling, and I'm going to go ahead and name the states off for you first, and then I can get into a little detail as to why. And these states are in no particular order: South Carolina, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Ohio. Now, let me start off by saying, anytime you're on a motorcycle and you're riding somewhere, it's enjoyable. What I'm talking about is the experience within the state, within these states, is what makes them make this list, is probably a good way of saying it. Now, we'll start off with South Carolina. So, granted, it is the closest state to me. It neighbors us to the south, and I can literally be in South Carolina in about 45 minutes, if not faster. So it is by far the closest state to me, where I live in North Carolina. With that said, South Carolina just absolutely sucks for riding a motorcycle. I've been on the interstate in South Carolina. I've also been on the state highways as well as U.S. highways, so think back roads. The 2 biggest things that stand out for me about South Carolina in terms of not wanting to ride there are, number 1, road conditions, or the condition of their roads. They've got some of the crappiest roads on the East Coast. The other thing, though, and this is probably a bigger one, is really bad drivers. And I know as motorcyclists, we're constantly pointing out how bad people drive in different areas, but South Carolina's on a whole nother level of bad driver. So it's for those 2 reasons that state really is not one that I enjoy riding through. Now, with that said, I've been through parts of South Carolina that were very enjoyable to ride in, or to ride on. State roads and U.S. highways that kind of cut through the middle of the state and avoid a lot of the big cities. They're out in the middle of the country, and there isn't a lot of traffic, and the road conditions aren't that bad there. So it has its bright spots, right? But they're not bright enough to knock it off of my list. It does put it in a position where I might decide later, after riding through places like New Jersey or New York State, that, oh crap, no, I found a state that's worse than South Carolina, so that I'll replace them on the list. But for now, South Carolina is the one we started with, and that's kind of my reasons why for it. Let's go to the next one. Next one would be Mississippi. And I gotta tell you, the first time David and I rode to California, we basically went across the entire state of Mississippi. And it was really quite an interesting state in terms of terrain and how it was. It was a pretty state to ride through. if it wasn't for the fact that the roads were just atrocious. And when I say bad, I mean it literally was one of those things where when we finished the day where we rode through Mississippi, we honestly felt like we needed to go see a dentist to make sure that we hadn't lost fillings. I mean, the roads are just in horrible shape. And it made for very uncomfortable riding, and when you're doing the kind of miles we do, it exhausts you pretty quickly. So that's the primary reason why Mississippi made the list. It can also get very hot and humid there. You've got wildlife you have to deal with, but that's kind of a constant in all the states. The biggest reason in Mississippi was just the roads sucked. So that's the why for Mississippi. Oklahoma. What do you say about Oklahoma? For Oklahoma, it was the fact that there is just very little there. I mean, it's flat, it's boring, and it's straight. There is nothing there that's exciting. The road conditions are great, and there aren't a lot of people driving around, so it's not like traffic is an issue or bad drivers are an issue. It's just so boring. It almost puts you to sleep, and that's really why Oklahoma makes this list. And oddly enough, Nebraska's on this list for sort of the same reason. It is extremely boring riding through Nebraska. It has its moments, but I mean, pretty much it looks like Oklahoma just on the north side of the country. It is not an enjoyable place to ride through whatsoever. Nebraska has a slightly more bitter taste in my mouth than Oklahoma does, and that's because the first time we went through that state, we were dealing with wind conditions that were so bad we actually had to trailer the bikes for a certain amount of time. We had to get someone to come and load our bikes up and carry us a few hundred miles in order for us to stay on target, because we just couldn't ride in the wind conditions. And a lot of that's due to the fact that there's not a damn thing out there. It basically is just fields, and that's it. You very rarely even see a tree. And same thing with Oklahoma. So yeah, that's the why for those two. I know I kind of lumped them together, but the reality is they are on this list for pretty much the same reason. So there's that. The last one would be Ohio. Now, I'm going to caveat this by saying the times that I've been in Ohio, we've kind of gone through the same part of the state. So I've traversed the entire state, but I've always done it kind of at the same, or the same, I won't say the same route, but certainly the same area of the state from start to finish. And what I can say is, and I know it's a function of the weather that they get and the weather that they deal with, and how they manage dealing with that weather during the winter is what causes what my gripe is. So I'll go ahead and start there. Ohio has some very treacherous roads to ride on, and quite frankly, they've got people that are crazy behind the wheel as well. It almost is akin to or on point with South Carolina. Not quite as bad, but almost. So yeah, Ohio is on the list for that. Now here's what I will offer. If you're from any of these states, please leave a comment if you disagree with me about anything that I've said. Leave a comment and give me some places to ride in your state. Show me a different side of your state that I haven't seen on my own just through my travels that might change my mind about your state and remove it from this list. Again, like I said, worst day, I mean, your day can only be so bad when you're riding around on a motorcycle. So it's not like these are horrible memories I have of these 5 states. I'm just saying, when I think about all the places that I've ridden in this country, those are the ones that stand out as being places that, all right, well, I'll go through there in order to get to this. I'm not really, it's not like I wake up in the morning and look forward to riding to Oklahoma, or riding through Oklahoma, or riding through Mississippi, or riding through Nebraska or Ohio. I don't. It's all right. It's a function of where I have to go, so we'll take that ride. So yeah, that's that list. Like I said, leave a comment. On that note, if you like the video, like it. If you like the content that's coming out, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. I appreciate every one of my subscribers, and I sincerely appreciate every time someone comments or talks about one of the videos. I enjoy interacting with folks, so that's what I'm here for. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. And again, if you want to comment about your state and your state made this list, please, comment and let me know your thoughts. I'd be happy to hear them. That's it. So for now, always ride safe.